Okay, so like imagine this, right? You're just, starting your day. Maybe you're having your coffee, scrolling through your phone, about to hop in the car and head out.
Uh-huh.
Ever stop to think about like all the things that have to happen all over the world just to make those like everyday moments possible?
Yeah, it's incredible when you actually stop to consider it, isn't it?
Totally. I mean, the metals in your phone, the steel in your car, they don't just like magically appear, right?
Right. And that's where today's deep dive takes us, the world of import-export, specifically for metals and metal ores. You've sent us tons of material on this, so we're going to unpack it all. What the job really entails, how to excel at it, and even how AI is changing the game for job seekers in this field.
It's a fascinating field for sure.
Yeah,
And we've got all the info you need if you're thinking this might be the career path for you.
absolutely. Now, you might think it's just pushing paperwork, but trust me, it's way more dynamic than that. These specialists, they're the conductors of the global orchestra of metals, ensuring the smooth flow of essential materials all over the world.
Conductors, huh? I like that. So they're like orchestrating the movement of these materials. So what's it actually look like day to day for these metal maestros?
Well, that's the thing. There isn't really a typical day, which is part of what makes it so exciting.
Right, keeps you on your toes, I bet.
Definitely. One day you might be negotiating a shipment of iron ore from, say, Brazil, and the next you're dealing with a customs issue in a totally different part of the world.
Sounds like there's never a dull moment.
Not at all. They're the vital link between suppliers who are often in very remote locations and the manufacturers who depend on those raw materials.
So it's like a constant high stakes balancing act.
Exactly, and the stakes are high. Think about it. A skyscraper project is underway, everything's on schedule, construction is humming along,
Right, right.
then bam, a shipment of steel beams is stuck in customs because of a missing document.
Oof, that's gotta hurt.
That seemingly small oversight can have massive ripple effects.
Yeah, time, money, potentially even jeopardizing the entire project.
Precisely.
Wow. Okay, so it's more than just knowing where to get the best copper or iron ore. You've really got to be on top of it, huh? Logistics, regulations, diplomacy.
Absolutely. And we haven't even gotten to the economic side of things yet. These specialists are constantly dealing with currency fluctuations, which, believe me, can be wild.
Oh, I bet.
I remember one instance where the price of nickel shot up something like 15% in a single day.
Whoa, 15%. What happened?
Some political instability in one of the major producing countries. The specialists had to think on their feet, renegotiate contracts incredibly quickly, just to keep everything moving.
Wow, that's intense.
It's definitely a field where the ability to thrive under pressure, to be adaptable, and find creative solutions, that's what really sets you apart.
For sure. So it's high pressure, but there must be some serious perks too, right?
Absolutely. Besides the satisfaction of knowing you're playing such a crucial role in keeping global industries going, the earning potential is significant. And of course, there's the possibility of international travel, experiencing different cultures. It's not just a job, it's a passport to a world of opportunity.
Okay, you've painted quite the picture of these global metal maestros. It sounds as thrilling as it is demanding. What does it take to actually become one? What skills really set someone apart in this field, especially when it comes to metals and ores?
The million-dollar question. And it's not a simple answer. Think of it like, well, like a fine alloy.
Okay.
You need that blend of hard skills, the technical know-how, and then the soft skills, the ability to, navigate the human side of things.
So walk me through this alloy of skills. What are the must-haves?
All right, so on the technical side, first and foremost, you've got to have a deep understanding of trade regulations.
Makes sense.
We're talking about mastering customs procedures. Incoterms, they're like the secret handshake of international shipping
Right.
and all the documentation that goes along with it. For instance, have you ever heard of an ATA carnet?
Can't say that I have, no. Sounds kind of like a fancy French dessert or something.
Well, it's just as crucial for an import-export specialist as a good croissant is to a Parisian, let me tell you. It's an international customs document that allows for temporary duty-free imports.
Interesting.
So let's say you're dealing with metals being used in a trade show,
Yeah.
right? Those gleaming titanium alloys, for example.
Okay.
Without an ATA carnet, they might never make it to the exhibition floor.
Wow. So one little document can make or break a whole exhibition.
Exactly.
There.
And it's not just about paperwork, of course. Understanding the actual metals and ores themselves, their properties, how they're used, that's vital.
Right. So you're not just a paper pusher. You really need to know your stuff.
A specialist who can talk shop with both the supplier and the manufacturer, who understands the nuances of, say, different grades of steel or the logistics of transporting something like rare earth elements, that's who really excels.
Right, you have to be fluent in language of metals, so to speak.
Precisely. And this is where those soft skills come in. Communication, negotiation, problem solving.
Right, so it's not just about knowing the rules, it's about navigating those tricky situations that pop up.
Exactly. Let's say a shipment of iron ore arrives in China, but the moisture content is off higher than what's specified in the contract.
Uh-oh, that's a problem.
Big problem. That's where your import-export specialist needs to be able to step in, assess the situation, understand the potential fallout.
I bet there are some tense conversations.
Oh yeah, for sure. And they've got to negotiate a solution that works for everyone, maybe a price adjustment or a revised delivery schedule, all while potentially dealing with language barriers, cultural differences, the whole 9 yards.
You're saying it's like being a diplomat as much as anything.
Absolutely. It takes a cool head, cultural sensitivity, the works.
Wow. Okay, so it's clear. Excelling in this field requires a really unique set of skills. It's not just one thing, it's a combination of technical expertise, sharp people skills.
And it's not something you learn overnight either. It's a journey of continuous learning, always building your expertise.
Right, so you've got to be adaptable, a lifelong learner.
Okay, so no shortcuts to becoming a maestro of metals, it seems. It's clear this career path requires a pretty unique blend of skills, and it's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
But for someone who's ready to take the plunge, what does that journey actually look like? Where do you even begin?
Yeah, it's not like there's some, metal trading academy you graduate from.
Right.
No secret handshake, no diploma saying you're officially an import-export specialist.
Not too bad.
Right? But there are definitely some established paths you can take. A lot of aspiring specialists, they get their start in entry-level positions.
Okay, so like what, working in logistics or...
Exactly. Or maybe trade compliance departments. Think of it like an apprenticeship. You're learning the ropes, getting to grips with all that essential documentation, those ATA carnets we talked about. Right. Got to learn those.
Absolutely. And you really get a feel for how the industry operates, the day-to-day rhythms.
So paying your dues, mastering those nuts and bolts before you can even think about conducting the whole orchestra.
Exactly. And then as you gain experience, you might move into, say, a junior specialist role. More responsibility, maybe managing shipments, coordinating logistics, even getting involved in some negotiations.
Okay, so you're starting to spread your wings a bit more.
Exactly. It's about building confidence, proving you can handle those everyday challenges. And that's also where those certifications we mentioned, like the CITP or CCS, they can really make a difference.
Right. Those are like adding that extra oof to your resume. Speaking of which, we touched on AI earlier. I'm really curious to hear more about how that's shaking things up when it comes to job hunting these days.
It's pretty amazing, honestly. Imagine having this digital assistant that can sift through hundreds of import-export job descriptions
Okay.
and pinpoint exactly what skills employers are looking for. And then it helps you tailor your resume, your cover letter, to really highlight those skills.
Oh, wow. That's incredibly useful. No more agonizing over whether you've used the right industry buzzwords or if you've emphasized your knowledge of Incoterms enough.
Exactly. Takes out a lot of the guesswork. There are even AI platforms that do mock interviews specifically for import-export roles. They'll analyze your answers, your body language, even give you feedback.
Whoa, that's next level. It really feels like AI is leveling the playing field, especially for those who might not have years of experience or a network of industry contacts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But, and this is important, AI is a tool, right? It's not a substitute for actually knowing your stuff.
Right. You can't just co-spy on a fancy AI-generated resume.
Exactly. You still need that foundational knowledge. If you don't know the difference between, say, a bill of lading and a letter of credit, well, no amount of AI is going to save you in an interview.
That's good advice. So for our listeners out there, hopefully feeling inspired to explore this field, what would you say is the key takeaway? That one golden nugget of wisdom to leave them with?
In a world that's more interconnected than ever, the demand for skilled import-export specialists, especially in essential industries like metals and ores, that demand is only going to keep growing.
For sure. It's a globalized world after all.
It is. So the question is, are you ready to step up and become a maestro of the global metal trade? We hope this deep dive has given you the information and inspiration you need to get started.